There is a specific moment that a lot of people know but almost no one talks about. It is the moment when something genuinely hurts and you feel the pain arriving, and then before it fully settles in, you do something. You close. It is not a conscious decision. It is almost automatic. You take a deep breath, look straight ahead, and keep going. And when someone asks if you are okay, you say you are. And you believe it. You are not lying. You have genuinely learned not to feel. This did not start recently. For most people, it started early. It might have been a family where showing emotion meant creating drama. It might have been a situation where you had to be strong because no one else was going to be. It might have been the repeated observation that when you showed pain, things got worse. So you learned. You learned that holding on is safer than letting go. That processing in silence is more efficient than processing out loud. And that people who feel too much are people who get hurt too much. You built this as a skill. And in some ways it worked. You got through things that broke other people. You kept going when it seemed impossible to keep going. You carry a stability that most people around you do not have. So you called it maturity. And everyone around you confirmed that story. You are the strong one. The one who does not crack. The one who is always fine. The one who does not need anything from anyone. And the more people confirmed it, the more you invested in that identity. Because it was the only version of you that received approval. The vulnerable version, the version that was not coping, the version that needed help, that one never had much space. So you kept getting better at hiding it, until you stopped recognizing it yourself. The problem is that your nervous system does not know this was supposed to be temporary. What neuroscience calls emotional suppression is not the pain disappearing. It is the pain being pushed down while the body keeps recording everything. James Groves, a researcher at Stanford who spent decades studying emotional regulation, showed that when you suppress an emotion, the emotional event does not end. What changes is that conscious processing is blocked, but the physiological response stays completely active. Your heart still races. Your cortisol still rises. Your nervous system still treats it as a real, urgent, present threat. You simply stopped noticing consciously, but the body never stopped keeping score. Bessel van der Kolk spent decades studying what happens to people who learn to dissociate from their own pain. What he found is unsettling. The body holds everything. Every moment of suppression, every time you closed before you processed, every pain you pushed down and covered with competence gets stored in the nervous system. Not as conscious memory, as a pattern of response. As chronic tension you no longer even notice because it has become your normal. And that accumulation has a cost paid in small installments over years. The first installment is selective numbness. When you train your brain to block negative emotions, it cannot do that with surgical precision. It blocks in general. So along with the pain you do not want to feel, part of the genuine joy goes too. Part of the excitement, part of the capacity to truly connect with other people. You start to notice that good things do not arrive with the intensity they used to. That you are present in situations but not fully inside them. That there is a thin glass between you and your own life, and you are always watching from the outside in. The second installment shows up in your relationships. When you do not process pain, you also do not process what caused that pain. Patterns repeat. You keep choosing situations and people that replicate the original environment where you learned to close. Not because you consciously want to, but because the familiar is comforting even when the familiar is painful. And when someone genuinely different comes along, someone who wants to get close for real, the alarm goes off. Because real closeness requires real openness, and real openness is exactly what you spent years learning to treat as a threat. So you keep people at a manageable distance, close enough not to feel completely alone, far enough not to have to expose yourself. You learn to be good company without being truly accessible. And the people around you generally accept this because you are functional, present, reliable in everything except what actually matters for a real connection. The third installment is the most expensive. It is your identity. You became the strong one. And now you do not know what happens if you are not that person anymore. Part of you believes with deep conviction that if you open up, you will fall apart. That if you admit you are carrying something heavy, people will see you differently. That the pain you have held for so long, if released all at once, will be too much to handle. So you keep holding. Not for efficiency like in the beginning. Now, out of fear. The isolation of pain became the foundation of your personality, and you are afraid of what happens if that foundation is touched. Here is what nobody told you clearly. This is not maturity. Emotional maturity is not the ability to not feel. It is the ability to feel without being destroyed by what you feel. Those are completely different things, and the confusion between them is expensive. One is repression disguised as control. The other is real processing that looks like vulnerability but is, in reality, the only form of strength that lasts. The way out is not dramatic. It is not one crying session that fixes everything at once, or one revealing conversation that changes everything overnight. It is something smaller and more consistent. It is starting to notice in real time the exact moment you close. Not to force an immediate opening, just to recognize the movement. To realize you are making a choice, even an automatic one, and that automatic choices can be unlearned over time. It is also revising the equation you built a long time ago. The one that says feeling is weakness and holding on is strength. You built that equation with the information you had available when you were very young in a very specific context to survive a very specific situation. It was never a universal truth. It was a survival strategy for a moment that has already passed. And you never updated the file. There is a version of you that learned very early that the world was not safe enough to be seen whole, that showing pain meant giving power to someone who might use it against you, that needing something meant risking not receiving it. That version did what it had to do to get through, but it is still operating by the same rules it had at 10 years old. And you, who are no longer 10, deserve better rules than those. You have carried heavy things, probably things that were not yours to carry, and you did it with an impressive competence. But there is a real difference between being capable of carrying and needing to carry forever. You do not need to keep being the proof that you can handle everything alone. You have already proved that more than enough to yourself and to everyone around you. What you have not yet proved is what happens when you stop handling it alone. Maybe it is time to find out. Not all at once. Slowly, but for real.